Hello, cosmic beings. Welcome to Being Cosmick. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I am so glad that each and every one of you are here. I will be doing a collective message today, so with that, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Okay. So before we get into it, I just have to acknowledge, um, I've been hearing the song Mirrors by Justin Timberlake for like 3 days now. So I feel like that's a synchronicity for somebody. Also, I want to bring it through here. Also, I've been going through a lot of ascension symptoms the past few days, so that might also be confirmation for somebody. Um, yeah. All right. What wants to come through? Also, thank you for your engagement on the channel. Your like, shares, comments, subscribes, and donations. They all really do help out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's see. Okay. So we've got the sixth chakra. So this is the third eye. So your intuition could be really leveling up right now. You might also be getting certain experiences, like when you close your eyes, you're seeing maybe geometric patterns or just really anything. It's visuals basically when you close your eyes. But this is also the ability to see beyond. So to see the deeper truth in something, to come into the realization of like soul connections, those kinds of things. Yeah, seeing what's beyond the physical realm. Okay, interesting. We've got storm warning. So, okay, all right. So this card indicates a potential difficulty either in the external world or within yourself and your emotional life. The difficulty is coming closer, and you may have already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be conscious yet not fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and your intentions. Stand up for yourself and take action on your own behalf. As with all difficulty, even the worst storm passes. Always remember you have the power and wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. Okay, and then we've got the thinking man. So, this could be talking about a potential presence of a teacher or mentor in your life or about to arrive soon. Um, they may be coming in to assist you on some specific spiritual, mental, or emotional pursuits. This card's telling you to pay attention, for this could lead to great strides in personal or professional growth. This may also be a love interest coming your way, or perhaps just a new friend. Be on the lookout for this guide in the physical world and be open to the information. Learn what you can. A new discipline, technique, course of study, or healing practice could change your life forever. So, whatever is coming your way, this potential storm, it's all happening for a divine reason. That's the biggest thing that wants to come through right now. And what it's leading to is this door to personal healing and happiness. So this is one of those, like, once you get through the storm and the clouds clear, you're going to be seeing things from a different perspective. And that's also part of this third eye chakra coming out as well. Um, but some part of this journey is experiencing something that you may have reacted to a different way in the past and then realizing you actually show up differently now. Um, that can, that's a big part of this, is to realize like, oh wow, I have done some healing. I have changed how I show up in certain aspects. And so when that does happen, make sure you give yourself a little bit of acknowledgement for how far you have come. And, it's a journey. And so even if, you reflect later and you're like, oh, I could have handled it even better, still acknowledge where you did handle certain situations differently than you would have before, because that is still growth. And that's, ultimately the goal. Mm. Yeah, so I feel like this is really leading to this door to personal happiness and healing. Okay, what else is going on? What else is going on? Action. Mm. And it landed kind of on top of this door to personal healing and happiness. So, what I'm taking from this is that there's something that is coming up for you where you're going to be called into this action that's going to help lead you into this door, basically. So this isn't going to be a passive situation. This is going to be something that is coming up for you to do something with. Um, it's going to be a call to action in some sort, in some form. Okay, we've got the second chakra, which is Archangel Ariel on this card. The sacral chakra is between the belly button and the base of the spine. The color is orange. And then the third eye chakra is in the middle of it's kind of like middle of your forehead. Um, it's like between your eyes up a little bit on your forehead. Oftentimes if you kind of tap it, especially when it's activating, or you just put your finger like kind of in front of it, you'll feel it. Um, the color is like an indigo, like a real dark blue. The interesting thing is when we're talking about the chakra system, you've got the heart, and the heart is kind of its own thing, so to speak. It's connected to like all that is. And then the other chakras connect to each other in different ways. So the root and the crown are connected. I mean, they're all connected, but when they're in balance, one of these will affect the other and vice versa. So the thing that I find interesting here is we've got the sacral and the third eye, and those two are connected. So this is about seeing things in a different way, seeing your perspective kind of shift, things like that. But then the sacral, that's where when you bring this energy in, that's where you can create with it. So when you're in a creative space and you're pulling through all of this creative inspiration, that's using like the third eye to see and to pick up on that inspiration. And then you're using that sacral energy to move it and to create it in the physical. Um, so yeah, this is insight. The third eye is also blocked by illusion. And then we've got the sacral, which is creativity, sensuality, and it's associated with pleasure, but in multiple ways. So that's physical pleasure, but also other forms of pleasure. And this is blocked by guilt. And so there may be something going on where you're going through some clearings with these chakras right now, or upgrades, or activations. Take it as it resonates. Um, but there's definitely a balance coming. There's definitely something with whatever's going on. There is a balance that's attempting to be obtained within you. And once you find that balance within, you'll start to notice that balance reflected back at you. And then we've got journey. And this can be a move, this can be traveling. Maybe part of this action is going to be you're going to be asked to travel to a different location, to a person, take it as it resonates. But there's definitely an element of moving, and maybe not literally like moving locations, but like moving in your life, like moving something forward. And that's, reflected here in this journey card as well. You're going on a journey. And then we've got community. Okay, and community kind of came out on this storm warning, so maybe there's something going on there. Um, yeah, maybe there's a situation with your community or your sense of community that is changing. Um, this could be realizing that certain people you've had around you aren't supporting you in the way that you once thought that they were. And that might be where this third eye is coming in, is kind of seeing it for what it is. And sometimes, even when people want to support us, they can only support us from their level of consciousness, from their level of healing. And so sometimes it can look like support, but it's actually projections of their insecurities or things like that, unhealed wounds, all of that stuff. So maybe that's kind of what's changing here. And then maybe you're going to be being called to take action in a new direction that leads you to a community that is able to support you and help uplift you in different ways. And then we've got carrying connections. So yeah, I feel like this is all happening so that you can really step into this energy. And this could be romantic, it could also be platonic. I'm picking up multiple threads, so just take it as it resonates. Oftentimes it's kind of like a one and then the other type situation. So when you're on the healing journey and the spiritual awakening journey, you'll find that certain things in your life start to change, and then all of a sudden other aspects and other areas of life begin to change as well. And it's one of those, like, the part that's challenging is when we're being asked to let go of things that no longer serve. The ego wants to hold on to that. The human self wants to hold on to it because it provides some sort of comfort. And then the soul's coming through saying, this isn't in alignment anymore. You need, you're being asked to let it go. And the sooner you let it go and process that, the more you're opening up to these new types of connections and these new types of experiences. What else was on the third spirit? Nope. And then we've got door to spirit. So at first I was going to say, ultimately, this is what this is leading you towards, is this door to spirit, which is kind of the door back to yourself, and realizing your divinity and things of that nature. But then what I heard was that this is a part of what is happening. So it's one of those, okay, I just heard to read it. Okay, okay. Um, so this door opens into the expansive energetic realm where all new beginnings originate. The orbs of light are guiding you through the clouds of the earthly world, leading you to deeper understanding of your eternal identity, the source of all true value and power. The door opens onto truly unlimited potential, for the changes that happen here reach deep in the core of your being. As such, this card often heralds your increasing powers in the spiritual arts and a deepening connection with the spirit world. Don't be surprised if you find yourself becoming more intuitive, more aware of spirit's presence, or more powerful in your own healing practices. Now is the time to open up to the unexpected guidance and inspiration of spirit, and to the magic and power of your true identity. And so that could definitely be what's going on for you right now, too, is really starting to realize the interconnectedness of the universe, to really starting to realize, like, nothing is a coincidence. Um, and this comes in phases where, like, the universe will literally show it to you so clearly that you can't deny it anymore. It's one of those, like, you'll start to be like, is there more? Is there more going on? And then it just, the synchronicities and the signs and the dreams and the this and the that, it just floods you to a point to where you have no choice really but to just accept it and be like, oh shit. There's a whole hell of a lot going on that, I was previously unawakened to, really. Because it's one of those, like, that's always been happening, and then we hit a certain point where our personal guidance system is like, okay, it's time for you to really come online now, and we're going to flood you with awakening symptoms and weird experiences that have no logical explanation, but there's more going on. You can't shake that feeling. You can't, no matter how much you try and turn away from it and close your eyes, it's still there. And so that could be what you're experiencing right now is just that full kind of coming into that realization and that different perspective shift where it's like there is more going on here. Spirit is interconnected in everything. However you term it, universe, God, spirit, the divine, whatever. But it's that divinity in everything type of thing that starts to become aware, and then from that, the perspective shift sets in, and then you can start consciously working with that energy and consciously surrendering to certain things, and then claiming certain things that you may have put, I just heard by the wayside. So, take it as it resonates, but um it's one of those, wait a minute, I did come here for something different. I'm a spark of the divine driving a human meat suit. Like it's a huge perspective shift. And with that, there are still things on the journey, even, if you've been awake and aware for some time, there's still things that happen that just take your breath away, that still blow your mind. And you're like, damn, like, the universe is just on point sometimes. Um, so yeah, I feel like this is really powerful stuff. And I feel like the biggest part of this message is to just know that whatever is going on right now that feels like a storm in your life, it is for a reason. Sometimes a storm comes in to clear things away, metaphorically speaking, and, to illuminate different things, to clear certain things out of your life. And the best thing to do, if you can, is to let it go, to let those things that are leaving, let them leave. Do your best not to hold on to them, because it only creates more pain for you in the long run. When spirit is coming in to take something, to remove something from your path, it's for a reason. And the more you cling to it, the harder it feels later. We're still going. What else? What else? You right. Oh, hey, we've got adjacent possibilities in hmm, I don't know which one it was. Okay. Um, Interesting. Okay. So adjacent possibilities, what I feel like this is coming in to say, and I'm kind of taking this literally, is when one door closes, another one opens. And so it's just to be aware that, there's always multiple options for you on your path. And when spirit slams the door, it's because you've outgrown that path, basically. There's nothing more for you there. It's time to, kind of go into this hall and see which one of these doors is being illuminated for you to walk through now. And then we've got the seventh chakra, Archangel Uriel in reverse. What's really interesting, I can do full readings and never pull one single chakra card from this deck, and we've pulled three in this reading, so that's pretty significant. So you could be going through upgrades, ascension symptoms, things of that nature. So take it as it resonates. With this in reverse, and I'm picking up as there's a block in the crown. I'm being told to read it. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, yep, there we go. Thank you, Spirit. Um, this card reversed indicates a block to your own intuition and the potential help and power from the spirit world. Perhaps you fear opening up to this side of your life, or perhaps it's just something that seems foreign or unrealistic. Either way, it's time to awaken to the beauty and power of this realm. See your crown chakra spinning in a beautiful violet or white light and call upon Uriel's passion and power to help bring this connection into being. Once you're open to the incredible peace and power that spirit can bring, your life will never be the same. So I feel like what's going on right now is you're getting activations, you're getting third eye activations. You might feel depending, so if your third eye isn't fully like open yet, you could be feeling pressure in your forehead. You could be feeling you could be getting weird headaches. With that, I'm talking about medical stuff. So, if you're concerned with your medical health in any way, definitely check with a healthcare professional. I'm not offering medical advice. What I'm doing is I'm looking at this from a spiritual aspect. There's certain things that you can experience, and when you go get it checked out by a physician, like you're fine. This, ringing in the ears. Maybe you go get tested for tinnitus and they're like, no, you don't have tinnitus. And you're like, but I'm getting ringing in my ears constantly. And they're like, oh, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But nothing that, they do really changes it. And then, like, the frequencies start to change or the ringing goes from one ear to the other and then it's quiet. That's your system coming online in a different way that it hasn't quite been online yet. So when the crown chakra starts to activate, you can feel kind of like rushes of physical, well, it's energetic, but it can almost feel like somebody like cracked an egg on your head, and you kind of get like this, it's like this energetic tingle rain kind of thing that happens. Just tingles in general, heat, um weird. And again, it's not really, because you can get headaches too, but it's not a normal headache. It doesn't feel quite like a tension headache or something like that. um Sometimes the tension headache can be associated with the third eye, so just extra confirmation. um but with the crown chakra, really what it is, so you want to make sure you're grounded. That was something, I experienced it where I completely was not grounded. So I highly recommend grounding your energy first. You can put your feet in the dirt. You can do visualizations. You can use crystals, dark colored crystals, black, gray. Those are very grounding crystals. Get grounded first, and then you can consciously attempt to open up that crown and open it up to divine energy. Um, and just intend that only that which is for your highest good is allowed in. And that alone, because we do have free will. And so that's the biggest thing, is to intend that, then you're not going to pick up weird stuff. You're going to pick up that pure source energy. Um, okay. Well, that was a whole random little side tangent there. So hopefully that helps if you're experiencing any of that. If so, you can let me know in the comments below. If you want any more information on some of the stuff that I talk about in any of my videos, really, but especially this one, just let me know in the comments, and um, I can do other videos where I kind of deep dive into some of these different topics. Okay, we're still going. What else is going on, sweetheart? There's a lot of energy out here. I feel like you're in a really big, like metamorphosis right now. Oh, yeah. And we've got rest and rejuvenation. So this is really, it's one of those, it's important to listen to your body, listen to your energy field in general. And when you need to pull back, pull back. When you need to rest, do your best to allow yourself to rest. Sometimes it's not possible with work and this and that, but just do your best to, maybe not push it too much. Really check in with your energetic system and see what it can handle. This might come up in the form of, canceling plans and just, sorry, I don't have the energy to attend this event. Things like that. Sometimes that's a part of this. And another part of what's going on with this is also really learning to listen to your own energy system and really honoring that, and understand that your energy system is telling you what's in alignment, what isn't in alignment, what's being asked to go, what's being asked to be replaced, what's being asked to be pulled into your life, new experiences, new connections, new habits, new routines, that kind of thing. And when we're in this rest and rejuvenation energy, that's when we're really giving our body and our energy system time to process, to integrate, to realign. And then oftentimes in that rest and rejuvenation energy, we will also get some insights, oh, maybe you try, I just heard like mushroom coffee. So that's very, very random. Maybe Maybe you're being called to switch your coffee with mushroom coffee. Something like that. And when those little intuitive hits come in, and the more you experience this and the more you really start to listen to it and consciously build a relationship with it, the easier it is to discern. It's like learning a new language. That's really kind of how it is so it's like at first maybe you only know a few words and everything else just goes unprocessed because you don't know fully what that other person's saying. And then the more and more you learn pieces of this language, the easier it is to understand. And so that's kind of how it is when you're starting to really tune into your own internal guidance system, when you're tuning into the divine. It's understanding that you're literally consciously learning the language of the soul. And so it's something that you already intuitively know how to do, but you're training your human self to understand it consciously. That's a cool way to put it. I don't think I've ever put it that way before. So that's fun. But that really is what it's like. And at first it's confusing, it's exciting, it's frustrating, it's all the things. And then it gets to a point where you kind of get the hang of it and you're like, "Oh, okay. This is what this means. This is what this means." And that's, confidence comes from experience in all areas of life, especially, when you're learning to ignore external advice and start seeking internal validation versus external validation. At first it feels foreign. At first, you've got these limiting beliefs, these subconscious programs that are like, don't do that. That's not what you're told to do. You're trained to give your power away. You're trained to give your power away to authorities, to doctors, to you know, it, all sorts of different ways. And so it feels like you're going against what it is that you've been taught because you are. Um, and so at first it can be hard to trust it because it's so foreign. And that's kind of part of this is it's an initiation into listening to yourself and listening to your soul. And a part of this is also understanding because sometimes intuition and fear can feel the same until you're really used to the difference between the two. And so it's also kind of really looking at those things and like, is this coming from fear? Or is this coming from a different place? If you really look at I'm going on whole like tangents right now, but anyways, I feel like this really wants to come through. So if you're looking at it, if you break it down to the simplicity, you've got two dominant vibrations of experiences. You've got fear and you've got love. And the thing is it's not like being in love with somebody. It's not, it's so much more than that. It's so much more expanded. It's universal love. It's unity consciousness. It's understanding the divine in all things and understanding that the separation is an illusion. And then when you're operating from that place and you understand the interconnectedness of everything, that's when you're operating more from that unconditional love frequency. And that's where when your intuition is hitting and it's guiding you, it's generally guiding you into situations and environments and things like that that are in um alignment with that. When it's fear, it's things that are coming from lack. Lack is a big one. Um, and it that can be lack of finances, that can be lack of confidence, that can be lack of love, that can be lack of being seen, lack of just in general. So if you're looking at something and you're like, I want to do this thing, but I'm getting an intuitive hit not to, sit with that and just really kind of get curious about it and like, why do I feel like now's not the time to act? Is it because it's being blocked for a divine reason and now I'm just waiting for the right time to act? Or am I getting this intuitive hit that's saying not to act because I might get rejected? I might not be able to sustain this thing. I might not be able to fully grasp this thing. I might not be able to fully show up in the way that this is going to ask me to show up in. That's indicative that it's more of a fear-based thing, and sometimes it will come up like that because there is a wound that you're being asked to look at, but it's not, yeah, it's just coming from a fear place. So, okay, we're done with that tangent. Awesome. All right. Anything. The temple path. So this is literally about stepping onto the sacred path. This is literally about um deciding to consciously get on the path and the journey back home in some way. And it's oftentimes back, well, it's back home to the self, which is also back home to the divine. And so this is really about embracing this path and understanding that if you are called to this path, it's for a reason. Your soul is calling you to this path for a reason. There's something you're meant to experience. There's something you're meant, oftentimes, especially now. Um, well, I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to get into alignment to just experience life from a different place. And then through doing that, you're able to anchor in a higher level of vibration for the planet to help the planet ascend. So, in a nutshell, that's really what this is about. If you are guided to this path, especially right now, it's because this is literally what your soul came here to do. We are in a massive transitionary phase of the planet, and a lot of us came here at this time to walk this path, to lead ourselves back home so that we can help lead others back home. And in doing that, having a bunch of awakened beings on the planet is going to help the ascension process of the planet that's ascending through dimensions in in physicality, which is really an exciting thing. But being human and going through this, especially before getting the awareness and the clarity and really grasping it and understanding it fully, it is so difficult. This is not an easy path. This is not a path that is like, oh yeah, you just, 1 + 1 = 2. It's like 1 + 1 = the spiral or something. Like it defies logic. It's a very challenging initiation. And there's multiple initiations, there's multiple, phases of, once you feel like you got it, then something comes in and is like, here's another layer. You're like, son of a bitch. Like, and here we go again. But it's beautiful. It's for a reason. It's bringing you back to a place of wholeness within yourself. And then from that place, you're able to experience life in a way that maybe you once dreamed was possible as a young child or, even an adolescent. But then it's one of those, oftentimes we kind of walk away from it for a little bit. And then the soul's like, nope, you came here for this. Nope, you came here for this. Come back. It's time. And it's one of those, to assist this process, surrendering to this path and accepting the fact that you did come here to walk this path. That is really, that's just what makes it easier on the human self. Um, okay, so there was a slight interruption from my dog. Um, Interesting. Okay, so the deceit card came out, which I was like, probably one more card and then we'll close this. And then we got the deceit card, which is very interesting. For some of you, what you could be dealing with right now is discerning what is true and what is not. Um, Maybe this is also coming into the awareness that maybe there's people around you who embody this energy. That's a pill to swallow. Um, this is just where again we go back to the sacral and the third eye, and all the chakra centers, but really getting balanced within yourself and learning to listen to yourself and really learning to discern intuition versus fear, that will help you to really come into the clarity of who in your life is embodying this energy. Um, and what in your life is showing up in this energy. Okay, I'm gonna read it really quick. And then we're gonna close out, I think. Um, so it says there may be some deception going on in your life. It could be regarding a personal issue or it could be a business matter. Um, it's talking about being aware of what is going on in your life. Um, it could also be the deception is coming from within you. So is there something that you're lying to yourself about? Um, it may be things like self-esteem, happiness, and leisure time. Whether it's about your life or yourself, remember the universe has a hard time sending you honoring experiences if your energy is shrouded in self-deceit. So maybe that's what's going on as well. And maybe that's part of where the difficulty of tapping into your intuition is coming from right now. If you are in this energy of like self-deceit in some way, that can muddle the intuitive guidance that is coming in. So this is about, and this is hard. It's about taking that mask fully off in looking at the self fully, in looking at certain things we did in life that we're not proud of. And then it's also understand that you did certain things because of your level of of consciousness and awareness. You know, it's that whole concept of like hindsight's 2020. Give yourself compassion for some of those things. You are acting from a wounded place. You are acting from an unconscious place. If you knew then what you knew now, you would have handled things differently, and that's okay. And it's also understanding that by really taking the mask off and accepting yourself for who you really are entirely, then that's when you get to really start showing up in your life in different ways. And then this energy just kind of falls off. You know, and it's through conscience work and in practice that this energy will shift. Okay, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. If you like this message, feel free to hit that like button. If you would like to see more from me, you can hit subscribe and feel free to let me know in the comments below if this resonated. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.